Hola, buenos días. Vamos a hablar de los verbos reflexivos. We're going to talk about reflexive verbs. Because this is a little complicated, I'm going to break these notes up into 3 small videos. The first thing we're going to talk about is what are reflexive verbs and when do we use them? You can find these notes on page 2 of your Unit 12 note packet. What are reflexive verbs? Reflexive verbs are verbs that are used when talking about something done to oneself. So, for example, I brush my teeth, I'm doing that to myself. I brush my hair, I'm doing that to myself. I look at myself in the mirror. Step 1 to using reflexive verbs is to decide which verb you are using and if it is actually reflexive. For example, to get dressed, what is the verb? Vestirse. Is it reflexive? Yes, you dress yourself. Also, to recognize a reflexive verb in Spanish, notice that there is a se attached to the infinitive of the verb. Let's do some practice. Let's decide if it's reflexive or not reflexive. I wash my hands. Reflexive or not reflexive? Reflexive. I'm washing my own hands. I'm doing something to myself. I dance. Not reflexive. Remember, don't just make any old verb reflexive because you're doing it. It has to be something that you're doing to yourself. You can dance by yourself, but in general, when you just say, I dance, you're just dancing. We wake up. So although this sounds like it's not something you're doing to yourself, really you are waking yourself up. Anything in Spanish that has to do with waking up, getting up, going to sleep, going to bed, that is going to be reflexive. She falls asleep. Again, we don't think of this as something we do to ourselves, but we put ourselves to sleep. That is reflexive. She wakes the baby. This is a different story. She's not waking up. The baby's not waking up. She is waking up the baby. So she's doing it to someone else. Not reflexive. You wash the dog. Not reflexive. Not doing it to yourself. He's not doing it to himself. They wash their hair. If they're washing their own hair, yes, it is reflexive. She shaves her legs. She's doing it to herself. Reflexive. He brushes his hair. If he's brushing his own hair, reflexive. I comb my sister's hair. Not reflexive. Are you seeing the trend here? We look at ourselves in the mirror. Yep, we're doing it to ourselves. Reflexive. I brush my teeth. Also reflexive. You get the idea. In the next video, we will talk about how to conjugate our verbs when they are reflexive. Adios.